Hi, I'm Phil Bainbridge, and in this video, we are going to take a look at Toast notifications. Now, in order to see the Toast notifications, we're going to jump back to our live coding project 3 that we worked on. So I've got this open here. If I open the Google Sheet, this was where we are looping through the rows in the spreadsheet and creating a document for each one. Now, at this current point in time when we run it, all we see is the script starting, and then eventually, after several seconds, the script stops and all the URLs appear. With Toast notifications, however, we can see it looping through each row, which is really useful if you've got a lot of rows of data and you're just wanting to visually track the progress. So let's go into the AppScript editor of this previous project that we've been working on. And all we're actually looking to do is add a single line of code into the code that we've already worked on building together. So if I scroll down a little bit, the row I'm specifically looking for is roughly about line 24, just after we've made the copy of the file by calling our child function, is when I want the Toast notifications to appear to confirm to the person that a file has been created. So I'm going to pop my cursor at the end there, and I'm just going to hit return a few times to create some space, because I want this to be visually obvious what it is that we're doing here. So I'm going to basically insert a line of code. Up here, you can see that we already got hold of the active spreadsheet and stored it as a variable called SS. That is what we need for our Toast notifications. So here, I'm going to put SS, full stop, and I'm going to start typing the word Toast, which gives me one option there. Now, if I open my brackets, I can see there's a couple of different options that I can provide here, and I can see a 1/3 value. If I just scroll down, I can see things like, if I look at option 2, I can see there's 2 items I can provide. I can provide the message as a string, and then separated via a comma, I can provide the title as a string. Now, this will be much more obvious when we see the Toast, but this is the option that we're going to go for here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a little bit of concatenation so that I can get it to tell me exactly which row it is working on. So inside double or single quotes, I'm going to put for row with a colon and a space. I then want to concatenate that, so I want to add. And what I want is the row number to show in the Toast notifications. Now, we are looping through the rows already using our variable I, which is set to 1, because we're going through an array which starts at 0. But if I want the correct row number, if I start at 1, it's actually going to give me the header row first. So it's going to be 1 behind, in effect. So I actually need it to start at number 2. Again, this will be more obvious when we actually see it running and the Toast notification pops up. But what I actually want to do then, in another set of brackets, I want to do I plus 1. So I want to take what's already created in the loop and just add 1 to it to account the fact that I'm not in an array and I don't want the header rows. If I now pop my comma in, the second item it's now asking for is the title as a string. So again, in single or double quotes, I'm going to type in created document, semicolon to end the line, and hit save. So the message I'm expecting is created document as the title of the Toast. And then inside of that, it will say for row and then give me the row number. And once it's created the first document, it will come and go to the next one and say for row 3, for row 4, etc. So I'm going to run that now. And as we run it, what we want to look at doing is jumping straight back into the Google Sheet. And we're looking down here at the bottom right for the Toast notification to appear. Because to say it's more of a visual user aid rather than somebody being in the live code itself. So if I click on run, and then I jump to the Google Sheet, it takes a couple of seconds to start creating a copy of a file. But what we're looking for here, there is our Toast notification. Now, it only really appears for a few seconds because inevitably when the next document is created, it overrides any of the previous Toast notifications. So there we go. It happened quite quickly because we only had 3 documents created. But if you imagine a lot of rows in a Google Sheet, the toast notification would be useful just popping up every few seconds to let somebody know visually what is happening. So it's a really useful aid for people for long bits of code. Thank you very much.